Happy Monday morning, everyone, and happy 4th of July to you. It is July 4th, and we are reading together from the Old Testament prophets and continuing our read through 1 Corinthians as well. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that you enjoyed a wonderful Lord's Day yesterday. Looking forward to a fun day today, hopefully, as we celebrate our country's independence. We're very thankful for the freedoms that we do have in this country. And what better way to celebrate the freedoms than to shoot off some fireworks and eat some good grilled and or barbecued meats and veggies. That's what I'll be doing today. Hope you'll be able to enjoy something very similar. And we should be very thankful to God for the opportunities and blessings that we have here in this land. Not a perfect land by any means. People are involved. Anytime people are involved, we know something's always likely to go astray. But God has blessed us, and we're thankful for that. Let's read in his word today. Hosea chapter 2. Hosea chapter 2, let me get up on the screen for us. Hosea chapter 2. Oh, about to hit the wrong thing here. Hosea chapter 2. Hosea chapter 2, we're looking again in this particular section is talking about the unfaithfulness of Israel. Remember that the Lord asked or told Hosea to go and to marry a promiscuous woman so that he could really understand the way that the Lord felt concerning the way Israel had been spiritually promiscuous against him. And his wife had 3 children, and the children's names all continue to lead to the unfortunate end, that Israel is going to, maybe I shouldn't say end, the unfortunate experience that they were going to undergo because of their sin. Because at the end of chapter 1, as you remember, there was a promise of reunification. So with that being the case, and with what we see here in chapter 2 and verse 1, call your brothers, my people, and your sisters compassion. Again, there had been very negative talk, punishment talk in chapter 1. And then it concluded with some hope at the end of chapter 1 and in chapter 2. So let's read here beginning in Hosea chapter 2 and verse number 2, where Israel's adultery is rebuked, where it is specified, and where God really wants them to understand this is the issue. This is the problem. This is why I am so angry. Hosea chapter 2 and verse number 2. Hosea chapter 2 and verse number 2, rebuke your mother, rebuke her, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband. Let her remove the promiscuous look from her face, and her adultery from between her breasts. Otherwise, I will strip her naked and expose her as she was on the day of her birth. I will make her like a desert and like a parched land, and I will let her die of thirst. I'll have no compassion on her children, because they are the children of promiscuity. Yes, their mother is promiscuous. She conceived them and acted shamefully. For she thought, I will follow my lovers, the men who give me food and water, my wool and flax, my oil and drink. Therefore, this is what I will do. I will block her way with thorns. I will enclose her with a wall so that she cannot find her paths. She will pursue her lovers, but not catch them. She will look for them, but not find them. Then she will think, I will go back. I will go back to my former husband, for then it was better for me than now. But she does not recognize that it is I who gave her the grain, the new wine, and the fresh oil. I lavished silver and gold on her, which they use for Baal. And therefore, I will take back my grain in its time, and my new wine in its season. I will take away my wool and linen, which were to cover her nakedness. Now I will expose her shame in the sight of her lovers, and no one will rescue her from my power. Verse 11, I will put an end to all her celebrations, her feasts, her new moons and Sabbaths, all her festivals. I will devastate her vines and fig trees. She thinks that these are her wages, that her lovers have given her. I will turn them into a thicket, and the wild animals will eat them. And I will punish her for the days of the balls to which she burned incense. She put on her rings and jewelry and followed her lovers, but she forgot me. This is the Lord's declaration. Therefore, I'm going to persuade her, lead her to the wilderness, and speak tenderly to her. There I will give her vineyards back to her and make the valley of Achor into a gateway of hope. There she will respond as she did in the days of her youth, as in the day she came out of the land of Egypt. In that day, this is the Lord's declaration, you will call me my husband and no longer call me my Baal. For I will remove the names of the Baals from her mouth. They will no longer be remembered by their names. On that day, I will make a covenant for them with the wild animals and the birds of the sky and the creatures that crawl on the ground. I will shatter bow, sword, and weapons of war in the land and will enable the people to rest securely. I will take you to be my wife forever. I will take you to be my wife in righteousness, justice, love, and compassion. I will take you to be my wife in faithfulness, and you will know the Lord. On that day, I will respond. This is the Lord's declaration. I will respond to the sky, and it will respond to the earth. The earth will respond to the grain and the new wine and the fresh oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. I will sow her in the land for myself, and I will have compassion on Lo Ruhamah. And I will say to Lo Ami, you are my people. And he will say, you are my God. Hosea chapter 2. Now, again, the pattern here is very clear, and it's poetry. So we need to keep that in mind, that this is prophetic poetry that is being written here. So it might seem strange to us for a very similar message to chapter 1 to be written here again in chapter 2 begin. We have this poetry being written. It's being the same kind of idea is being shared in multiple ways. The first way in chapter 1 was to show it illustrated through Hosea's marriage to a promiscuous woman. And here, just flat out, the Lord says, listen, you were unfaithful to me. And everything that I gave you, you took and used to honor the Baals. How awful is that? How hurtful that must be. It would be like for a husband to give his wife beautiful jewelry, and then she wear that beautiful jewelry out on a date with someone else. And same thing for a wife to give her husband some nice clothes to wear, and he'd wear that out on a date with another woman. How hurtful that would be for the blessings that God had given them to be used to honor someone else. And yet again, as we see here, we see that there is going to be renewal, that there's going to be restoration. Again, there had been no compassion. There had been this idea that they would not be his people. But at verse 23, I will sow her in the land for myself, and I will have compassion on Lo Ruhamah. So the one who is called no compassion, I will have compassion on her. And I will say to Lo Ami, you who are not a people, you are my people. And he will say, you are my God. So once again, we have this repetition of this is the issue. This is the sin that you committed. Yes, there's going to be punishment, but hope is still there that God would restore his people. And we'll continue to see that in chapter 3, where the subheading tells the story pretty well, where they are waiting for restoration. We'll read that tomorrow on Tuesday. That is Hosea chapter 2. Excuse me, hopping on over to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 now. Love the superior way. Remember at the end of chapter 12 yesterday, the Apostle Paul wrote concerning that desire the greater gifts, yes, but I'm going to show you an even better way. Well, what is the better way whenever it came to their service and their gifts and their talents? Well, the better way is to make sure that all of it was motivated and founded upon their love for God and their love for others. So verse 13 chapter 13 and verse number 1 of 1 Corinthians, Apostle Paul says, listen, if I speak human or angelic tongues, but do not have love, you don't know what that's worth. Do you know what that's like? That's basically like me being a noisy gong or clanging cymbal. Verse 2, if I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains, but if I don't have love, I am nothing. And if I give away all my possessions, and if I give over my body in order to boast, But if I don't have love, I am nothing. Just pause there. What is the point of verses 1-3? It's all about love. And that goes back to chapters, chapters 7, 8, 9, I think it was. 8, 9, 10. I think it's 7, 8, 9. No. 8, 9, 10. Chapters 8, 9, and 10, the issue of the meats sacrificed to idols, it all came back to love there. Your love for your brother or sister would cause you to do what was best for them instead of carrying out your freedoms without consideration for them. So here again, in chapter 13, we have love being stressed as being most necessary. Well, what does love look like exactly? Here's what the Apostle Paul says love looks like. He says, love is patient. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse number 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It is not boastful. It is not arrogant. Is not rude. Is not self-seeking. Is not irritable. And does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. But, Paul says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, as I am fully known. Now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love. Oh, love. An absolutely necessary. What an absolutely necessary characteristic, attribute, feeling, action, all the above, right? Love is not just something felt. Love is something expressed. I can say I love someone all day long till I'm blue in the face. But unless I express that in the way that Paul has described in this text, what have I really done that's impressive? So for all of us today, there's a lot of things that we love. Maybe love fireworks, love food, love time with family and friends. All those things are good to love. But our love needs to be deeper than just having that appreciation for temporary things like fireworks or food. We truly need to love our family, our friends, our brothers and sisters. How is that going to display itself? It's going to display itself by us doing what's best for them, by us loving them in the way that the Lord has instructed us to love them. So let's do that. Whatever good it is that we do, let's make sure that it is rooted in a truth about us, that we love those people and we truly want what is best for them. We're not just trying to love out of being compelled or obligation. No, we're going to do what's best for them because we truly love them. Do you love like you should? Does your love look like it should? Let's think about this text and make sure that we can answer those in the affirmative. Yes, I love as I should. And yes, my love looks like what God wants my love to look like. And if you can affirm those things, my encouragement to you, keep it up. Love never fails. Thanks so much for tuning into this daily Bible reading. Looking forward to reading with you again tomorrow. Again, have a great rest of this 4th of July. Enjoy the time out in God's creation with family and friends, eating some good food, enjoying all the blessings that God has given us. Enjoy that today. Let's get back to reading again in the morning. We'll be in Hosea chapter 3 and 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Looking forward to reading that with you then. Take care. God bless.